What is up, guys, and welcome to the channel. In this video we are going to be installing the Spicer drive shaft, the rear drive shaft for the Ford Bronco, and we're going to be comparing side by side the OEM drive shaft from Ford and the Spicer drive shaft now that it's going in. It's going to be pretty cool. We're going to discuss some technical aspects, going to get a little bit of perspective from my friend Jason there over here at OCD Fabrication, who is doing the install for me. And yeah, let's just hang out, enjoy the video, and let's have fun. All right, guys, to remove this drive shaft, we're going to be taking a 9mm, as we just found out, to this rear, undoing that pinion, and then after you get that side loosened up, make sure you don't use an impact on it to start because there's Loctite. Make sure you use a nice big ratchet or wrench, and then we're going to go to this side, which is probably the same size, and do this as well, 9mm. Just a few bolts. That's easy. All right, this end's disconnected. That end's disconnected-ish. Ta-da!
So definitely axle side first.
Take out the axle side first.
Yeah. There's not enough room next to the flange of the T-case.
So we're going to do this. This is called cinematography. Get OCD Fab in there. Okay, guys, a few things right off the bat. You'll notice the Spicer driveline is thinner overall diameter than the OEM, but more than likely stronger because, as Jason here,
I probably assume it's a 188 wall, which is pretty common in the aftermarket world for a driveline.
I have the specs for the wall size. I'll post that right below, but I think it's in that realm from what I remember. So it's a stronger wall, which is good, and overall diameter is less, which is also good. And then they moved the slip yoke from the center of the driveline over here towards the front of the driveline. This is what connects to your transfer case right here, which can reduce the likelihood of it getting struck by a rock, tearing your boot. So that's a good thing. And then the big change that we got in the design is the OEM right here on the axle side, next down to this thin joint right here. And it's like a CV style joint.
Yeah, there's an actual term for it. I can't remember exactly what it is right now. It's been in the Jeep market for many years.
It's worked well for 40,000 miles for me, no issues, but strength is nice, and this will get me quite a bit more strength on the yoke side.
On top of it, articulation too.
As well as articulation.
Yeah, 1350 is going to give you a lot more articulation before bind than this will. And it's also going to take that articulation properly. Once you start to articulate this and leave it like this for a long time, it rips the boot, it destroys the joints that are inside here. This is all the way around a lot stronger and serviceable. You can't service this, you can service this. So once this wears out, you have to replace the whole driveline. If this U-joint wears out, you can just replace the U-joint.
And I see on this, it can actually, this is going to extreme articulation obviously, but you can bind. And on this one, kind of just stops, I guess, I don't know.
Yeah, you can. You'll see a lot of the aftermarket companies too, depending on who you get flanges from. Spicer's not too concerned with it because they know the truck's not going to be able to articulate farther than that. But you'll see these machined out on a mill. A lot of the Toyota's ones are built like that, and they'll machine out here so you can actually get even more articulation out of them. But with the lengths of travel that you're dealing with, I don't find that too necessary for this 1350.
All right, guys, and installation is going to be the reverse of removal. Put that drive shaft back up in there. It's going to go to the transfer case side first, then to the axle side. Put the bolt supplied by Spicer right in there. Make sure there's Loctite on them because you're going to want Loctite. You don't want those bolts coming out. Torque them down to spec as provided in Spicer's instructions. And that's it. Do a test drive. Make sure it ain't falling out. But overall, pretty happy. We're going to do a test drive as well, see how it's driving after we throw it in there. And it should be driving pretty darn good and be stronger for the future when we do some crazy stuff on the Bronco. So stay tuned. Bye. What he's doing right here is he's just taking a flat file to that machined edge to make sure there's no burrs on it before we made it up to the axle.
You're always going to have issues with shipping and things getting dropped and different areas. We'll also take a wire brush to the inside of your drive flange because of the way that they work, just to knock the surface rust off of them.
And if you want to know why he's so OCD about this tiny stuff that I wouldn't even think about, OCD fabrication.
Do it right the first time and you won't have to do it 4 times.
Mm-hmm.